Hello and welcome to Point Rock Review with your host, Quassi. And today we're going to be doing this video without Brian. He is actually upstate. He won't be down for another month. But today we are going to learn how to make mead. So let's get to it. Some of this, the terminology of this when I do this might not be right, so I'll put the words up here or there. You're just going to have to, just go with the flow with me on this. So first, to make mead, you're going to need honey, water, and yeast, which now I remember I forgot my yeast packet. So I'll be right now that I'm back and I have my yeast. This is a active dry yeast. This is a wine yeast from Red Star. Trying to remember what the alcohol on this was. I know I looked it up. It doesn't say it on the package, but I think it was about 14%. So we're going to see what kind of alcohol we do get from this. So what I'm going to do first is explain everything that I have to make the mead. First, I have my carboy with the little airflow gadget. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I'll put it up there somewhere, guys. It's got its stopper on it and everything else. We'll add some water to this, and when you make the mead, it's going to bubble, the air is going to come out, and it's going to come in through here and out that way. It'll do some bubbling and stuff, but it'll keep it from getting any dust or dirt inside this while we're waiting for a month and a half, maybe 2 months for this to be ready. So next I have some plain old water. Well, this is spring water. The better quality water you've got, the better your mead's going to be. I'm not going to use the water out of my faucet because it's not the greatest. And then you're going to need some Sand Star for sanitation reasons, because everybody freaks out because it's not clean enough. So we got some sanitizer here. I've got my jar here, or my container here, which I'm going to put my yeast in. And then we'll let that fluff up. It's going to bubble a bit and everything else. It kind of gets the yeast kind of going for you a little ahead of time. But I'll go ahead and do that. I also have my funnel, and everything in here before I even use it will be sanitized. So while I'm at it, let me go and sanitize this in my bucket of sanitizer, which I've already added the star stand in and everything else. So I'll go do that real quick. I also have my hydrometer here, which will read the alcohol by volume on this, and we'll get our first reading, which is what's called a man, what is that called now? It's called OG. It's a original gravity reading is what it is. So that will do that. So I'm going to have to pop these bad boys in there. I just got this in the mail, so I still have some of the packaging on it. You got to be gentle with this, because if you drop it, it's going to go everywhere. So definitely got to be careful with that. Which it's already floating in here, which is quite funny. And then we have our little container here that we're going to pour our mead in to get our first reading. And I'll sanitize that too right now. And that I know of, it doesn't have to sit in sanitizer for very long. Just enough to get it sanitized, and that's it. I've already pre-washed pretty much everything except for this, because I just got this in the mail like 5 minutes ago. Before shooting this video, of course. So we've got that. I'll have that sit there and dry out. I put my honey in there, which I do got my honey. This is actually honey from Texas. This is Crockett's honey. I might try a different honey eventually, but this is what I got. And I'm putting it in the sanitizer right now because it's lukewarm. And I want it to warm up the honey to make it flow better when we pour the honey in, because, you know how honey is. It takes forever to pour. So let's try to warm it up and make it pour better. So let's get started on this mead. So first we're going to take our little packet. We're only going to use half a packet. And what we're going to do is we're just going to try to pour half of this packet, which, this is funny, I can't rip this. I need a pair of scissors. Well, my hands are a little wet too, but okay, I'll be right back. Okay, now that I'm back, because I can't rip a package of yeast, I have a hard time with it, I guess. We're going to go ahead and take some of our spring water and pour it in our container here. That should be enough. That's probably too much water, but it's no big deal because this is all going in the carboy. So next we're going to take our yeast and just try to use about half this packet, not all of it if possible. Hopefully that's enough. That feels about half, I guess. Maybe a little bit more. If I use the whole one, it ain't gonna hurt it really, but you'd rather use half. So I'll go ahead and I'm just gonna stir this yeast up a bit. I'll get it on the side. Okay, and we're just gonna let that flop for now, or fluff up. It's supposed to, you just wanna make sure it's getting active. That is acting, or doing its, yeah. You wanna make sure it's activating. So next, we're going to take our jar here, which I did not clean yet in sanitizer. So let me go and do that real quick. So let's go ahead and put our funnel in there. Take our honey, take it out, and I actually opened it up yesterday to get the seal off it, and we're going to see how well this pours. Ooh, look at that, still pouring pretty slow. So as you can tell, the honey is not quite warmed up enough, and it is going to drain slow. This might take a little while. Well, now that the honey is almost all done draining, I went ahead and got some water from the spring water here and put it in the jar here to loosen up that honey, and then hopefully, and that'll pour the rest of that in a lot easier. Also, I went and sanitized this and the stopper and the top while I was waiting for the honey to pour through. So now that's all done, let's go ahead and add this water, and hopefully that will, or this watered down honey, and that will change that. Hopefully the rest of that honey will melt on down in there. I think that's about it on that. Got all that done. Yeah, no, there's still some honey, but we got most of it. Okay, now that the honey is all in there, which as you can see it's still kind of dry drip, I'm still going to need the funnel because I need to add some water to this now. I'll add about, maybe a little bit more. Pretty much almost this whole gallon's probably going to go in there. But I'm going to add that much for right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stopper, which has been sanitized, and put it on here and shake the heck out of this. So I'll be doing this probably for a little while. But you want to do this mostly to stir up that honey and get some oxygen built in there. So this will ferment a lot better. Yeah, this is going to take a while. Air it out. Fuck it up. Stir it some more. You do a little song and dance while you're at it. I have no clue what song to do, but I'll dance around while I do this. Okay. Enough to make an ass out of myself. Okay, now that I'm back, actually the stopper was real easy to get out. I didn't even have to use the tool I thought I was going to use, but I didn't have to do that. So that's looking pretty darn good. Yeah, it's really thick and everything else, but eventually, as the weeks go by, I'll have to keep doing readings on this to check the alcohol and see how well it's fermenting and everything. So from time to time with this, when I put this away, I'll have to check on it, do a reading on it, and see if it's gone up or gone down, if it's actually staying or not, letting me know if it's done fermenting or not. But it's going to take about a month and a half or so. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more water to this bad boy. I'm just going to add some more water to this, and we're going to shake it up again. Check on my yeast, which doesn't look like it's doing too much right now. It's still bubbling. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay, I think that shook up pretty good. So, I'm pretty much happy with this. I'm going to add some more water to this. I don't want to fill it up too much. I'm kind of afraid, like, how far should I fill this, you know? Right now I probably fill it up too much, but who knows? So, now we got our yeast here. Actually, you know, before I do that, guys, jumping way ahead of the gun, the one thing they said to do when I was using the hydrometer, the hydrometer, was that to test it before you add your yeast. I don't know how true that is. But I'm going to do it anyways, and we'll give it a try. It's going to be kind of hard to do with all the bubbles in there, but they say basically to dip this bad boy in there and just go like this, which I'm like, that's not going to get rid of the bubbles, but whatever. So I don't want to break it either, so we're going to try to do this reading with all that suds in there. So we're going to go ahead and take our reading. Now there's 3 readings on this, but the one you're looking for is the one that has the 1.000 on it. I don't know the term for this one. I know it's supposed to be, there's a brick reading, there's an ABV reading, which is not the one you use, I guess. And then there is the reading for the OG there that we're going to do. And this is telling me this is at 1.120. Let's say 1.120. Okay, so we're going to go with that because that's the best reading I can actually get. It's probably wrong, but we're going to see how that goes. So we just dip this back in there and let that do its thing. Okay, now we are finally going to add our yeast to this. Oh, snakies. And as you can tell, I have probably added too much water. So, once again, like I said, first time making this mead. What I'll probably have to do is wait for it to settle. Okay, now that the suds have settled quite a bit, I've shooken this up a few more times just to get it stirred up pretty good, mixed in there. So what I'm going to do now, because I forgot to do it the first time, is use this. And pray I don't spill any of this mead. Because this is what this was for the hydrometer. That should be good enough. Now we'll take our hydrometer, which is nice and sanitized, and we will try this again. There's less bubbles this time, so it should not be a difficult reading this time, hopefully. So I will stir it a bit, like they say to do, and then we will dump this bad boy in there, and let's get our reading this time. We are at, now with the yeast in it, which I don't know if it would go down or go up, but it seems to go down. But that could be because all that foam was holding it up. But now we are at 1.1, looks like 1.110. So it looks like it dropped quite a bit with the less of the foam and with the yeast added. So I'm going to go with that as my gravity reading for my first OG reading. The other one I'll keep it there and remember what that's for. But now I will go ahead and pour this back into my carboy. Okay, so next I'm going to get some water and put it in. Well, actually, I got some water right here. Let's see if I can do this without spilling too much. And there's little levels right there that tell you when's max and what's, you know, if it's at max or not. Okay, that's pretty much a little too much. And that is perfect. We will put this cap on. Actually, you know what, real quick, just because I want to be careful, I will sanitize this one more time. Put this back on there. Put this in there. Put the little air cap thing on there, which will let air out. Pop that bad boy on. And that's it. Now what I'll do is this has to sit in a dark, cool place. So I got the perfect spot in my house to do that. If you don't, the best thing to do is probably take a paper bag and cover it, but make sure it's in a cool place. Another thing I did want to mention, and I didn't think about it until after I had made all this, was your yeast. I guess if it's too high, the water or whatever you're using or whatever's in here is too high of a temperature, it can mess with the yeast. But of course I just used some warm water that I had, and it, you know, it was like lukewarm, so it's not going to hurt the yeast at all. So now I'm pretty much done with this, and like I said, I will put it away. I'll check on it weekly, probably daily, just because I'm worried about how high this is, and make sure it's not exploding all over the place, because that's the last thing I want is an explosion in where I'm storing this, because the wife will kill me. But that's it, guys. If you guys got any comments or concerns or suggestions or whatever, throw them my way. Hey, this is a learning experience for me too. So I can't do the 2 beers, 2 reviews thing because it's Mead that we're making here. Kind of wish Brian was here for this, but he's not. He'll be here probably after the 2nd, maybe the 3rd recording that I'm going to do, because I'm going to do like I think I might do like a weekly recording of this until he gets here, and then we'll do the tasting when he gets here, and then I might let it sit another week or 2. It all depends on how well, if it's still fermenting, if it's still, you know, eating at those sugars and everything else in there, and we'll see how it goes. So that's it, guys. Until next time.